So I've got a confession to make. I've got a hot date today with twins. Here they are. G'day throttlers, welcome to the channel again, Throttle Down Under. Today I'm on a side street up in the back blocks of North Narrabeen on the northern beaches of Sydney, and very shortly the Penrith Motorcycle Centre van is going to arrive with some very precious cargo. Now we're going to have on board the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 and the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Now these are the two brand new twin cylinder Royal Enfield bikes, and they're going to be here very shortly for us to take a spin on. Now Royal Enfield's marketing these bikes essentially as the Californian lifestyle. Now we haven't got Californian lifestyle in Sydney, Australia, but what we do have is the beautiful northern beaches of Sydney. So we're going to jump on these bikes shortly. We're going to offload them out of the van. We're going to jump on them, head up the northern beaches, maybe to Palm Beach, maybe to West Head. We'll see where the road takes us, but we're just going to be cruising along on these beautiful brand new twin cylinder Royal Enfield bikes. Anyway, let's go and check them out. Throttlers, now I'm on the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650, and up ahead of me you can see James on the Interceptor 650. Now we've been on the bike for about 5-10 minutes so far, and all I can say is I'm in love already. Now a lot of what we talk about today is about these as a brand new model. And if you've ridden any of the past Royal Enfields, you know how much those big single cylinders vibrate and thump, and that adds a fair bit of character for the ride, but it also makes it a little bit uncomfortable over a period of time. Now these Enfields, with the 270-degree firing angle on their twin cylinder engines, are just, in my opinion, they've got almost as much character as the original Enfields, but they're just so much smoother. Now I don't know if it's going to pop up in the video at all, but the sound of these stock pipes is just absolutely beautiful, just like you're riding a real classic motorcycle. Now they haven't arrived in Australia yet, but there's a set of S&S pipes that you can just pop on, put the cams on the end, and it just changes the whole tone into a much nicer sound than it already is. Now being on the Continental GT, I'm in a slightly leaning forward position. I've got rear set pegs, but they're not so far rear set that you feel like you're flying a rocket ship. Just really comfortable, and I'm leaning forward a little bit, but I like an upright seating position, but this isn't uncomfortable at all. It's actually just a really comfortable, sporty little feeling. I'm super impressed. Now for those of you that don't know the history of Royal Enfield, all started in Great Britain, but now they're actually being built in India, and I know that they're a super popular bike in India, and they're very proud of these bikes, and I can actually tell why. Like this 650 twin is so beautiful, so comfortable to ride. I'm really enjoying it. Now the one thing to talk about when we're talking about these bikes is the price point, and that is that they ride away for around about $10,000 Australian. That's right away, including rego on-road costs. Now some of the models are cheaper than that, and a couple of the models are a little bit more expensive than that, but not much. So essentially you could go into your Royal Enfield dealer, and in particular for us it's Penrith Motorcycle Centre out at Penrith, and you could ride away with one of these with only losing about 10 grand out of your pocket. And it's a lot of bike for 10 grand. Really comfy. In fact, oh geez, I don't know. I think that I'd love one of these in my garage for 10 grand, and then maybe you customise it a little bit for another 5. And this is an absolute ripper of a bike. Got a 650cc engine, which also makes it a quite affordable insurance and registration offer in Australia, and in particular New South Wales. But the gearing feels to me like it's very long. First gear is very long, second gear is very long. I haven't even reached fifth or sixth gear yet. It's just a really sensible gearing for cruising, for around the city, and just general riding. Now, who do I see buying the Royal Enfield 650 Twins? It doesn't matter which one it is, whether it's the Interceptor or the Continental GT. I see 3 types of people buying these. Number one, blokes like me, older blokes that love the classic styled motorbikes. They just love to get out on the bike and have fun. We don't need too much fuss, we just want to have fun, put it in the shed until next time. Category number 2, I think, are the hipsters, the inner city hipsters. They want to be seen on a cafe racer or do a little bit of customization themselves on something like the Interceptor. And that's an awesome little scene. In fact, now I'm not calling cafe racer guys hipsters, some of them are, some of them aren't, but I'm an audience member of the Sydney Cafe Racer group on Facebook, and I think that this would be an awesome bike for these blokes to customise. I think that they'd have a ball with them. There's enough power, but not too much as well. The third type of person that would be into this bike are the learners. Now, from my knowledge, I believe this is going to be a learner legal, a LAMS approved bike in Australia. I'll have to double check on it. I'll pop it up on the screen if I'm correct or if I'm not correct. But I'm pretty sure these are going to be a LAMS bike. Now, to get these on your L plates or your P plates with this much power, especially if you're a big dude like me and James, oh, you can't go wrong. There's not enough power to get you into trouble, but there's enough power to have fun in. And I'm absolutely loving this. Look, I'm rolling on in 4th gear, and it just pulls. The low-down torque is absolutely amazing. The mirrors are in a really nice position. However, I'm sure that anyone buying this bike, especially the people that are modifying, would probably be looking at putting bar end mirrors on the end of the handlebars just to give it a bit of a better look. The only problem with that is that it's actually going to widen the width of your bike, and it will affect you in traffic, especially lane filtering. All right, now we're cruising along 100 kilometers an hour, and this is so stable, very smooth, 6th gear, and it's really quite impressive, really quite impressive. I tell you what though, the exhaust sound, I'm not sure if you can hear it through the microphone, but it's really intoxicating. It just sounds so beautiful, and really impressed. Right, just slowing down up here. Man, I love this bike. Love it, love it, love it. All I've got to do is convince the wife that I need it in the garage. I should be able to convince her, right? It's cheap, it's affordable, it's not busting the bank balance too much. Come on guys, you're with me, are you? leave a comment below and you let me know if you think the wife should let me get one of these. Alright, now I'm on the Interceptor 650. Just jumped on board for the first time ever, and very different seating position. Obviously it's a more upright seating position, which makes the bike more comfortable. It's taken me a little while to get used to the foot pegs because I've just spent an hour and a bit on the Continental GT with the foot pegs slightly more rear set, and these are a bit more standard set, but still very comfy. Handlebars are a bit taller, got this nice brace across the handlebars here, and it just allows me to sit in a more upright seating position. Now the same engine runs both bikes. I think it's a 648cc parallel twin 270 degree firing angle. And yeah, it's just as nice. I'm not decided yet whether I like the upright seating position or the forward seating position, but nonetheless, still so comfy, really comfy. Looking at James in the mirrors, it certainly looks more aggressive sitting on the Continental GT than when he was sitting on this Interceptor. Beautiful 6 gear, 100 kilometers an hour, just comfortable, really comfortable cruising at this speed, no problems at all. Again, the mirrors are just the same as on the Continental GT. They're in a good position, plenty of view. However, I think the majority of people will swap out these mirrors for a bar end or something a little bit similar. Yeah, do you know what? If I was to buy one of these, I really don't know which one I'd choose. This feels just as good, just a little bit different, of course, but it just feels nice. I do think the Continental GT feels a little bit more planted and more directional through corners, and obviously it has a lot to do with weight and the riding triangle, no doubt. But I feel like as I'm turning the corners on this, it's a little bit floaty, and not in a bad way by any means. It's not dangerous or upsettingly floaty, but compared to the Continental GT, it's almost, I guess you could say, more comfortable, less precise. I think if I was to buy one of these, straight away I'd do a suspension upgrade and I'd put a new set of cans on it, S&S, enhance that exhaust note even just a little bit further than it already has been, maybe some bar ends, and that's about it to start with. I think that'd be the ultimate little mods to start with a bike like this, and to get it up to, yeah, it doesn't even need any of that. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't even need any of that. It sounds amazing. The suspension is suitable for its purpose. I carry a bit of weight in my girth, and I think an upgraded suspension package would be nice, and I'd love to hear that exhaust note just pop even just a little bit more than it already does. But other than that, these are a perfect bike. Great city bike. Well, this one being upright, good for lane filtering, good for seeing over traffic. It'd be a perfect daily rider going to and from work with a fuel injection, and it's just a great little bike. For me, it'd be a Sunday rider, and it would be just to get out, do some group rides with mates and have a little bit of fun. That's what I use bikes for, and I think both of these bikes are perfectly suited for that. Do you know what? I get the opportunity with this YouTube channel to ride a lot of bikes, and a lot of very cool bikes, and I must say these two bikes are probably the bikes that have excited me the most in recent years. Alright, heading down to Kuna Bay now. It's a bit twisty, a bit windy, and the roads are a little bit rougher down here, so it'll be interesting to see how it corners in the rough. It's not a perfectly smooth road. You've got to be a bit more thoughtful on your cornering, picking your corner, holding your corner. And there are, I must admit, some of those mid-corner bumps do unsettle the bike just a little bit. Again, nothing drastic, but you certainly feel it, and it's good to be aware of it. Now, I'm pretty sure that an upgraded suspension package would tidy that up quite a bit. It's not something that would stop me from buying this bike at all. Again, you're never going to buy this bike if you're wanting to break track records. You're not going to buy this bike if you're wanting to ride 1,000 kilometers a day. You're buying this bike to cruise, hang out with your mates, maybe ride to and from work. I think they're the most likely reasons you're going to be buying this bike, and the suspension is quite suitable for all of that. And in fact, the whole bike is quite suitable for all of that. Alright folks, now quick wrap up so I can turn the cameras off and just go and have a good time. Let's quickly talk about the two bikes. Essentially, they're both running the same power plant. They're both running all the same frame, gearbox, everything is the same. The only thing that's different is the body positioning, the peg location, the handlebar types. So we're on the Interceptor now, the Interceptor 650. And as you can see, we've got raised handlebars. I'm in a more upright seating position, mid-set pegs. Just a more standard style of bike. Now I think it's fair to say that we agree that it's probably based around the Bonneville sort of a platform to give you that style of bike. Highly customizable. You buy this platform, the Interceptor, and you can do anything to it. You can turn it into scrambler, you can keep it standard, you could chopper it, you could bobber it, you could do absolutely anything to this platform, which is I would assume the main reason people would buy this. Now the Continental GT that James is on up ahead, it's obviously aimed at the cafe racer style. It's got rear set pegs, it's got clip-on handlebars, you've got a more aggressive stance, and just a position is probably more suited to fun riding, to be honest. Both of them could do with the suspension upgrade and slip-on cams to increase the exhaust note, even though it's already good. After coming through this last set of turns, we are having just a little bit of brake fade after a bunch of hard cornering and hard braking, so it's to be expected. These bikes aren't run in yet, so the brakes are still bedding in. However, I think maybe if you were planning on riding them hard, or let's say spirited, you're probably looking at a brake upgrade too. That's all you need to do for these things, and that's making them a lot better than they are, and they're already good. See, we're doing this, you probably can't see in the camera, but this is quite a steep hill, and we're just doing really strong third gear pulls, plenty of torque. I'm not looking at the speedo, but you could probably see it on my camera. Just third gear roll-ons, no need to change gear. Really good bikes. Royal Enfield, you've really hit the target with these. I'm so excited for you as a company to be able to put these on the market and run these as your flagship on top of your pre-existing lineup. I have no doubt in the world that in the next 18 months that these will be one of the most common sights on the roads of well, Sydney in particular for us, but the world in general. Loving it, absolutely loving it. Alright guys, I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank Penrith Motorcycle Centre, and in particular James in front of me. He was kind enough to drive both these bikes down in the van all the way to North Narrabeen for us to do a Northern Beaches run, and it's been an awesome afternoon. The sun's starting to set. We're doing another trip down McCar's Creek through Church Point back to Narrabeen and put these little babies back in the van. If you're interested in test riding the Royal Enfield Twins, make sure you call Penrith Motorcycle Centre, ring up, make a booking to test ride these, just to make sure they're there and make sure they're available for you to ride. And in fact, from memory, February 16 is the Kawasaki new model day at Penrith Motorcycle Centres. So if you're interested in any of the Kawasaki's and to check out these twins, get on out there. 9 till 3, I believe. I'll put it up on the screen if I'm wrong. And again, if you want to test ride anything on the day, make sure you ring up and make an appointment, because they will book out. And in fact, these bikes are solidly booked for the next couple of days out there on people test riding them and giving them a bit of a spin. Alright guys, we're sitting on the waterfront here at Church Point. We've had an epic afternoon on these two beautiful Royal Enfields. Thanks to James from Penrith Motorcycle Centre. He's been so kind to bring us these bikes down and spend the afternoon with me. Do you want to tell the audience about how they can come and test ride them with your shop?
So everybody's welcome. They're a learner legal motorcycle, so anybody is welcome to come and ride at our shop out at Penrith Motorcycle Centre. You can find us at Blaikie Road in Penrith. They're on display as of tomorrow, which will be the 7th of February. So please come on down and have a ride of the new GT and Interceptor.
Beautiful, and we've just been sitting here having a chat, and essentially we're both super surprised about the quality of riding that both bikes give us. Like Royal Enfield has got a lot of heritage, but they've come ahead leaps and bounds with these two bikes, and it's very exciting to see what might happen in the future with Royal Enfield. So again, thanks James.
Yeah, that's right.
And until the next video folks, throttle on.
See you all later.
Alright folks, I'm signing off now. Thanks for watching again folks, I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you tap the bell icon to stay in touch. Give us a big thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. And make sure you share it to everyone who you think might be interested in the Royal Enfield 650 twin cylinder bikes. Ciao!